It's not against any, not against our ability to grab clips. It's just I hate this champion. I love
Yeah.
Jace. I hate what they've done to my boy. The Arcane may have got him. They changed him from the inside out here as
For real.
we get into the first phase of draft here for game number 3. Ferris yet again, and I wonder if TS are going to kind of give up the Kalista. In theory, you probably shouldn't, as a lot of great AD carries here are in the LPL, but we haven't seen AL actually reach for this Kalista when is up and available. So I think when you have a couple games still left in the tank to play, this might be a gambit that I would be willing to take, saying, are you going to go for this champion, or are you going to be looking for another blind? And they go ahead and ban the Yone.
So Kalista still on the table. Things like the Draven and the Kaista for JackeyLove also still available. So things that can dominate the lane, be very aggressive in the 2v2. I imagine that'll be the direction that both of these bot lanes are going to go. And it seems like Kael going to opt for maybe the more pinched pool at this point with a melee support going for the first pick of the Leona.
That's what I wanted to see, though. We talked about how support pool starts to get pinched. You look at the supports that are already gone at the bottom of your screen. Rel, the Alistar, Nautilus got banned this game, and I don't think we're going to be looking at a Rakan, at least for right now. So Leona is going to be the option. I think Braum starts to really rise in priority, especially if we're talking about the 2v2 versus the Leona, and you know, something that would be able to help you, but we'll see what the response is. Maybe even focusing towards a jungler here for Kanavi.
Still a little bit of time to decide. I'm curious what will be paired alongside this Misfortune, something that really can do a lot of damage in the 2v2 with the double ups. Instead, opting towards a mid lane pick, control mage play for Creme in the Victor.
Okay, so we get into those team fights. We're going to be seeing big wombos here for TES as, you know, you find a single kill with a bullet time. You're able to lock up those opponents from AL. The Chaos Storm starts to get larger if he has those upgrades. You have the bullet time like we were just mentioning. And for TES, what is their response? They can go for a bit more range like we're seeing with this Ziggs. Maybe they just try to go for an all-out team fight, but wanting to just outrange them, and Hope has been one of our better Ziggs here in the LPL. So now what I want to see from AL, probably going to need to get one more poke champion as we send Grapes to the Shadow Realm for getting Kanavi and Tarzan mixed up. And I want to see maybe another tank as well. When you have this Ziggs, you want to be able to build out the front line and allow for them to actually get the burst and some of that damage down.
Oh, it
welcome
actually
back
gets
from
locked
Mort
in.
Yeah, welcome to the welcome
I'm
back from Mort Ultimate. UQSS.
I'm back from Mort Ult and I see a Pantheon on my screen. That is not what I was expecting. Is this going to go mid lane or jungle? What's
This is going to be
here?
most of the time that we have seen it. I don't think we've seen solo lane Pantheon. We've gotten a lot of jungle Pantheon here in the LPL. So wouldn't be surprised if we see that. He got a lot of great buffs to his E with the movement speed, and his ability to clear has obviously been pretty decent throughout the years. So interested to see where this draft goes in the back end as AL have left their solo lanes up as a potential here and already starting to get pinched when we looked at the first half of the bans.
And so, despite the Draven, the Kaisa, the Kalista all still available, we decided to play Misfortune versus Ziggs down in the bot lane because why not, I guess.
Yay!
Heading into the second phase right now, though, mid lane target because the Victor's already been locked in for top esports. Shanks still did really good on that Akali. A similar champion is the Silas. That will be taken away from him. Wonder if we see another mid lane ban or if we see something thrown towards Flandre, as his pool is actually maybe getting pinched a little bit as well in terms of things that we've seen him play this season.
Yeah, Maokai also a great flex here, either for Kanavi or for Crisp. The Nature's Grasp and the Ultimate are going to be such big proponents as to whether or not TS can find those team fights to allow JackeyLove to rip with the bullet time. Last ban here for AL is going to be the Poppy. They're going to need some kind of setup support. And I'm looking at the support pool. Leona obviously taken away. I think Rakan can be nice. It sucks in the 2v2, but it is something that can eventually get onto the backline of someone like this Ziggs. And I think they are going to be looking for a couple more tanks, especially in the top side here for 369.
It might actually be a flex of the Maokai up to the top lane. That is always still a possibility, and it leaves the flexibility between him and Crisp for that R5. Sejuani being locked in here for Kanavi, being more on the facilitative side. They already have so much damage with the Victor and the MF. don't necessarily need more from the jungle position. Now we need a top laner and an ADC, or sorry, top laner and a mid laner here for Anyone's Legends. The Gnar hover for Flandre would make sense. This is something that he's been very comfortable on throughout his career. And we'll see what Shanks wants to pull out into the Victor.
A pretty strong blind, and for TES, I wonder where this Maokai is going to go, because now with the Sejuani, you could potentially pair this up with a Renekton, and then you have all the frontline setup that you need with the crowd control requisite alongside the Sejuani to set up for Creme and JackeyLove. Last pick here for Anyone's Legend, it is going to be the Orianna, which, as we see with the Nocturne ban, is going to lower the priority of this champion, hopefully, as we get further in this series. Last pick here for TES.
You got some modified ball delivery systems with like the Pantheon ult, maybe the Leona diving in, but not like the Nocturne, obviously. So a big difference here. That Maokai will be flexed down to the support position as the Renekton Gnar matchup. The old classic between 369 and Flandre. Feels like we're back in 2019 or something, as that will be the matchup we have up there. Overall, very well-balanced compositions, I will say. AL lacking a little bit in the physical damage compartment potentially. That is a really good angle for somebody like Crisp, Kanavi, or 369 to pick up a lot of magic resist this game.
Yes, for AL, the way that this team fight is going to want to go, we want to see AL get to fights a bit early as they have the range advantage in a lot of cases. Victor, as he ends up scaling, is going to be a bit of a nuisance for them to deal with, and some of the problems from game one may show here in the second game, as with this composition, with this Renekton alongside these two carries in JackeyLove and Creme, they need to make snap engages and find good picks if they want to be able to fight. That's where this ultimate from Crisp is going to have to be so on point. If he can lock up the members of Anyone's Legends, suddenly there's a way for them to fight. Big team fight ultimates, and we're looking at the two carries for TES.
Creme and JackeyLove both played pretty well, I would say, in that last game on the Hwei and the Ashe. Can they do it again with a bit of a different composition? Victor MF still a very good backline threat, so not too dissimilar, as it will be game number 3 between Anyone's Legend and Top Esports. Top, they gotta be feeling pretty good at this point. Last time these two teams faced off at this point in the series, they were already down 2-0. Now at an even playing field, just needing to win 2 out of the next 3.
Okay. Early game, I am expecting for Anyone's Legend to kind of be able to play with whatever ball they want, whether that is walking through mid lane. Level 6 is going to be a very key moment in the game for this team, as now against Creme, when you have this Orianna, while you do get slightly outranged by Victor, with your ultimate, you should be able to catch him, let Tarzan find and execute, and at the very least, you're forcing his summoner spells. And similar kind of matchup in top lane. Once Renekton gets level 6, that'll be something that they can look for, but the wave clear is really going to be in 369's hands, as he can dash in, clear the wave, and look to try to play for these early grubs.
As we start things off and take a quick look at the room, nothing too out of the ordinary. You see the Aftershock on the Maokai, so you can see he's going for more of a tank-focused build instead of going something like the Comet or the Aerie. Play around.
Also has the Ultimate Hunter as well, so again, more kills as long as he has those takedowns, unique takedowns anyway. He is making sure that his ult always has uptime if they really are going to need it.
Just a lot of AoE overall from TES, right? You have the Maokai to start things forward, as well as, of course, those big ultimates on the backline carries, as once again, we see a lane swap occur. This time it's actually going to be Hope and Kael, though, on the blue side initiating.
So interesting that they decided to go for this swap, as you would want, I think, as AL to try to play against the Maokai and Misfortune, especially early on. I think your level 1 is a lot stronger. They're making a look for 369. So he walks out. Let's see how much he's able to do here, how much damage he takes.
I mean, Leona, not as strong level 1 as she is obviously level 2. Still going to lock him down at least a little bit with the Zenith Blade. The Aftershock comes through, but 369 should be able to go back rather safely. And because he was able to get into that bush, soaked up the 3 melee minions worth of XP. Pretty big win for the Art of Crop.
For sure, and also has the Overgrowth plus D-Shield, understands that this is a matchup that he's really going to have to take every little bit of an advantage that he can. Level 1 Gnar, though.
Crazy to dive right now. Crisp is tanky.
Oh my god, no way.
Flandre will survive at about 300 HP, and now Tarzan is on the hunt. Has level 3, all 3 of his basic abilities alive. and Chris could be in a little bit of trouble. They are going to try to go for the redive. They know that Tarzan is here, and that will be enough for anyone's Legends to claim first blood. Now on the top side of the map, 369 has to flash away from any potential damage, still at about 200 HP. AL should be able to redive this rather successfully. There's the
there
stun,
it is.
There's the bomb, and Hope makes it 2-0 for the Pandas.
This feels like game one all over again. They execute on the dive in the top side, and on the other side, TES get nothing to show for it. Man, we talked about how weak some of the early games have been for TES, but this just feels like a repeat of mistakes that we've already seen in this series alone.
Looks like Chris saw he won MVP last game and said, I want to prove the haters wrong. And had a bit of a tough one down there. It was a very risky dive to go into Flandre, who just dinged level 2 as that minion hit the tower. Just never was going to work very well.
All right,
Take a look at
we get to see this one. This is, yeah, like 369 didn't have enough HP from the earlier trades. He does spend a lot of time and a great job of being able to delay this, but I think the most important part, even though he does die, is that he did get some of this wave. It's the kind of the silver lining to what has been a particularly dismal early game here for TES yet again. Sejuani looking for the flash in mid, but Tarzan is in the area.
Okay, level 4 advantage right now for Kanavi. We will be met by Tarzan, who lands a stun onto the Sejuani. Shanks should be able to keep himself rather safe here in this situation. The gravity well does stun up Shanks, but there's going to be not enough follow-up here for top, as Kael will also join it, making a modified 3v3 here in the mid lane. And
with Tarzan and Kael, they have the 2v2. Yes, Kanavi is up in the experience, but Kael's level 3 on this Leona. Pretty tough position. Wow.
We saw Kanavi do this on the second spawn of the Raptors to Tarzan in the last game on the red side. So Tarzan says, hey, here's a taste of your own medicine, steals that camp away. Still a little wonky up here. It looks like AL may want to actually go for the fight. Creme still has his flash, and so is playing rather aggressively in this lane. It looks like the rest of AL will back away after claiming the Raptors as their friend.
You do not win this, Mr. JackeyLove, brother. You will get walked down by Ziggs. Everyone kind of thinks of Ziggs as a mage. You know, he doesn't have the strongest early game, but the spells, especially Satchel Bomb very early, is very disruptive, and the auto attack passive is very, very strong. So always got to be careful about playing Ziggs in the 1v1.
And, you know, right now he was able to do damage and get that kill, but actually JackeyLove doing pretty well in the CS department over his bot lane partner. Picking up a Vamp Scepter, so we're going to see more of a, I think, either a Bloodthirster or a Bork. I would imagine a Bloodthirster early on.
If you go Bork on if you go Bork on range carries in the year of 2025, I think you should probably just get reported for the most part. Unless you're playing Varus, maybe.
It's
and
not bad
also,
on Varus,
Bloodthirster on Misfortune is just too key. Like, you have the shield, it protects you from losing your strut, so also just good into playing against a team that is going to try and outrange you with this Orianna and Ziggs. So both of the bot laners getting a reset. JackeyLove goes towards the bottom lane first here, and so they get that wave in, but it does mean that AL will be first to the objective, which, talking from draft, was what we wanted to see. If they can be on the objective first, it's so difficult for TS to walk into an Orianna ball, into the Ziggs and Leona.
And no shockwave just yet clear for Shanks, but the zone control that the ball provides still pretty big, just with the damage that it has this early in the game. Flandre hitting level 6, and Mega using the ult to clear out the plane and shove 369 away, as now we potentially see TES ganging up around the first spawn of Grubs. There comes to make it rain. It slows down Kael for just a little bit, but AL unrelenting in their pressure, and they want to make sure TES do not take this for free.
Flandre not having his ult. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, lands straight onto Kanavi, stops the charge lanes onto 2, but the damage is pretty big. Shockwave is finally unlocked, but it will be Kael falling first to Chris. Kanavi now stuck in the pit. But look at the bullet time from JackeyLove. It is melting AL as they are now stuck in the pit themselves. Hope has to flash away as him and Flandre are now on the wrong side of the rift. And it will be top Esports coming out on top of the skirmish, at least for now. 369 has the dominance unlocked, and they will be able to pick up this first spawn of the Grubs.
Great flash from Kanavi and Creme to get out of that play and specifically get out of the shockwave. Whereas Flandre, he doesn't even have the Gnar ultimate. It's a 90-second cooldown. Later in the game, it'll be more as Shanks trying to walk down JackeyLove, but the rest of the squad from TS are there. If you don't have the Gnar ultimate, we just shouldn't be fighting. I feel like that was an ill-used kind of ultimate from Flandre. I get it. You want to force 369 away, but you won't have Mega for the fight. you just got to be able to call off the bets. A bit of an overforce from anyone's legend.
Yeah, so Top Esports picking up that first major objective in terms of the Feast of Strength with the 3 grubs completed. Looking now maybe for that dragon, which is still up and available on the bot side of the map, with anyone's legends claiming the other feat, that objective, and it's alongside the tower. Going to be very, very important. Taking a look at this replay, it was Kael starting the fight, but Top Esports doing a good job at just pumping out damage.
I just don't know why we are ever sending an engage onto Kanavi there. Like, have we all read what Sejuani's passive is? She has way too much armor and magic resist, and we even get the flash out from Hope at the end. So it goes from bad to worse, and now we come back to live. Jackie's almost 30 up on this matchup, despite the early game going so poorly. Now looking for a flank here. Kanavi, great job, has the ultimate, and they just want to try to catch out Shanks.
Does have the flash, as he is under his tower potentially for safety, but Kanavi is not going to let him get a chance to respond before he gets hit by the Glacial Prison. That is both the chunk and the summoner spell used from Shanks as the dragon is alive and Kanavi's on the bottom side of the map.
So Kanavi can obviously, now with the ultimate missing, could look towards the dragon, but Shanks can TP anywhere he wants, and he still has that shockwave. So really looking for the trade of flash. No flashes from Tarzan, Shanks, or Hope will mean that this upcoming fight should be a lot easier for TES, as with this Maokai, with Sejuani, I think it should be pretty easy for them if they wanted to really kind of turn onto this fight and look for the bullet time from JackeyLove.
Interestingly enough, JackeyLove actually has not gone back to base in quite some time, so despite him having the gold lead, still just sitting on that Vamp Scepter, so not upgrading too much just yet. You imagine he's waiting for that BF sword if he is going for that Bloodthirster first item. Maybe he has it rather soon, but doesn't want to take himself off the map with this dragon still available.
Well, I mean, duh, it's Vamp, of course. So what if we're on Summoner's Rift? Might even get Fiend later, who knows. Getting that reset coming in, minute and a half before the for these grubs spawning in. Maybe there is a play here. I think maybe moving away from this dragon and looking towards getting 6 grubs. Again, TS have done such a great job of getting early structures, especially while there are still plates around, and with multiple amounts of grubs being able to spawn in the mites, I feel like that would definitely help them in their objective.
So with those grubs spawning in about a minute, we see some resets coming through. There's the BF sword from JackeyLove. As Top Esports would love to have this 6 grub advantage, especially with just, you know, the solid front to back that they do have. If they do win a team fight and barrel it straight down mid, those 6 grubs are going to make it even easier to crack open turrets.
See that posturing. I think big thing that I'm looking at is the support XP bar, which if you haven't seen it on the map, it is that little, very, very tiny, like 2 pixel wide purple bar that is underneath the champion portraits.
I actually did not even know that existed.
Yeah, that's how you're probably like, damn, how does he know experience totals like this? I'm not that good, dog. So, oh, we're making a play on the Creme.
Oh my goodness, satchel forward because he knows that Tarzan is on the way. Mega Inferno Bomb takes Creme to about half HP as the Chaos Storm does go away. Tarzan looking for the stun, not in range just yet, but the shockwave will come through. Tarzan getting the kill on the Creme.
And while they are subjecting or losing some of these objectives on the top side, it does mean that Ziggs will get alone time with this turret. How much damage he can get in this time is up to them, and he still has the TP if he wants the match. But Kael perfectly hovering and protecting his top laner to prevent this dive, but I don't know, man. This is looking pretty tricky.
Oh, it's 4 players with the wave crashing down. That is a mini Gnar on Flandre. Ignite is ticking, and he will burn down with Crisp claiming the kill. So 1 kill now, 4v5 on the map for the next few seconds for Top Esports, but don't know if they are confident enough to go for the second spawn of grubs because they took a beating in terms of HP.
Look, they got the Ziggs teleport. I think that is more worth to them, and we said how much of a priority early structures are. As soon as 369 is done with that play, he TP's bottom lane. Shanks is going to have to walk over there, but if he does, he's losing mid priority to this Victor. So TS are putting them in a pretty tough spot on the map here. As AL now, while they do get the grubs, I do think it is a bit of a losing trade here, as right now TS are really focused on getting standing gold where they can.
So it's at least 2 picked up. The smite from Tarzan makes it a 3-3 even trade. However, Chris has had enough time to come back from the base and go in onto Tarzan with Twisted Advance. Tried to take one down with him, but damage is just not enough. JackeyLove getting on the board with his first kill of the game.
finally, it feels like TS have found their footing in this series. It took them a couple of games, and even though they won that last game, I still think was a bit tricky this time around. It feels like they're really in their groove. Maybe AL kind of getting that kind of stop finally. Uh-oh.
There's the Nature's Grass combined with the bullet time. However, JackeyLove takes a decent chunk of damage, has to back away for just a moment, but will be able to survive and take it down Hope. Top Esports, making plays around the map, having himself a 1,000 gold lead, and more importantly, having JackeyLove fed on an 80 carry early on.
So focused on making sure that this Misfortune finishes an item, being very competitive in the item inventories. We're talking about the economies here, as Hope finishing the Luden's Companion, JackeyLove doing quite the same with the Bloodthirster and the pickaxe as well. So getting close to what might be an Infinity Edge second. Either way, they can go and look for this play around the bottom side of the map. I don't think the Dragon is going to be that important. They're most likely looking to just get early gold, make sure that 369's in a great position, and maybe level 11 on this Renekton will be where we start to see this 369 guy kind of start to pop off.
Yeah, you know, we've seen him on the tanks for the first couple of games. Now we see him maybe a little bit more agency on the Renekton for 369. He's got Kanavi on tank duty for him this time around. Dragon still has not been claimed by either side. This is still the first Dragon of the game. Been all focused around the top side of the map. I imagine the Otacon's going to be spawning there, as we do see now. And now the question is, what do these teams want to do? It looks like Anyone's Legends going to actually be the one to start up this Dragon, as they are overloaded on the bottom side.
It's so surprising to me that we also just haven't had... so the kills went over to AL. The first to 3 Epic monsters, however, is now tied between these two teams. And always have to be careful, Ziggs, with this amount of damage that he has, the range that he can provide against the enemy team. You always have to be thinking about where they're playing. I love the setup. Hope cannot step up here. Even though Chris doesn't have flash, any afraid of like a twisted advance suddenly means that he has to take the long way around. And even Kanavi potentially prepping for a dive on that wave. Really loving what we're getting from TES as they're making sure to protect these carries. And as this game goes forward, it does not get easier for AL. If at any moment they lose one of these outer structures, it becomes more difficult for them to actually set up, as making play onto Creme, get his flash out, but I think he's fine for right now. He's still picking up gold. He's still getting those upgrades.
Oh, and the twisted barely lands onto Hope. The last little roots from the Nature's Grass from Chris is enough to lock down the ADC, and JackeyLove picks up yet another.
I don't want to call it too early, but AL feel like they're wavering a little bit. Some of their confidence has been shaken, especially after that last game. This doesn't feel like the same AL that was winning Demacia Cup and putting up numbers on the board against TES. So maybe some of that's starting to catch up. Maybe TES as well, leveling up themselves throughout the series and throughout LPL so far. It's only about a week and a half here, but man, this game feels so much more in favor of TES, and I don't know, I have this like gut feeling of watching AL right now. They just feel a little shaken in this game.
There's a little bit of a lack of coordination there, right? You saw 2 plays trying to happen at the same time for AL. You had Tarzan and Hope going into the mid lane. You had Shanks and Kael on the top side. And instead of allocating the resources towards one area to make a play there, they tried to split it up, and it ended up really biting them in the backside, as JackeyLove now 3-0-3 on this Misfortune, working towards his second item very, very soon. And now the next thing on the menu is this Rift Herald that is in spawn.
And he's got level 11. Both him and Creme have ticked over. 369 as well. They have 2 points in their ultimates. This is a huge power spike coming in for TES, as AL are behind in gold, behind in experience, and they're going to be starting up this Rift Herald here. Tough ask. 369's pushing in this bottom wave, so even if they give up the Herald, he can TP for this play, and they'll grab themselves the bottom
lane.
There
he goes.
turret.
Oh, it's going to be such a big flank, and the Glacier Prison lands onto Hope. Solar Flare on the other side only finds Chris. The Mega Inferno Bomb does only a little bit of damage. 369 has the dominant pop. They pressure AL out of the pit and secure the Rift Herald on their own.
They got Creme!
Kael has found Creme, and Creme will go down. That is 1 kill in a 5v4 set up for AL, but top goes on the run, and AL will not be able to find any more.
I was a bit question mark pinging that because Flandre started that fight with no Meganar bar. He had no rage, so it's a bit questionable. Tarzan finds the objective, and they almost dropped it. They find the pick onto JackeyLove. I think they're just setting up to just get this in range for the Satchel Bomb from Ziggs.
Yep, should be Rift Herald, and then the W from Hope should be enough to take down this mid lane tier 1. Bullet Time going to buy some space, at least for a little bit. Tarzan threatening with his big ol' spear, forcing the rest of top esports back. It is a trade as 369 picks up the tier 1 in the top side of the map, but a really nice job from AL to get gold into the hands of some of their carries who desperately needed it.
All right, mid-tier 1 down. This should open up for AL to walk into that side of the map and have a little bit of an easier
nice
time.
Angle.
This is a angle of all time. JackeyLove literally, they only barely broke his Bloodthirster. And oh, this is the pick where the Nature's Grass just barely is able to find Hope here. And we're getting every single, we're just doing the whole replay package, okay? All right, thank you, LPL. 9 HP!
9!
Jungle Diff. That one, I'm typing Jungle Diff. Sorry, brother.
To be fair to Tarzan, he was trying to do a little, like, grab it on his way out kind of thing. Needed to press the smite button before he fell out of range, so kind of, it happened. It happened.
Happens. Sometimes you just get 9 HP Jungle Diff, and sometimes you get the Baron healing, if you remember those days.
Oh.
Baron level up. Very, very controversial act happening upon our Barons. But we're back into the game. We're back out of the replay package. Otacon is spawning in a minute, 20 seconds before this dragon. And while Soul isn't a big portion of what this game strategy is going to be for right now, AL are in position for this play. And right now, I love what TES have done with the map, but if they can't protect some of their carries, Creme not having flash does make this very difficult for them to walk up for this fight.
Okay, so now the target going to be this bottom lane tier 1 turn, at least for a little bit. Creme doing a nice job wave clearing with the laser, making sure that there is not enough damage put down to take it down with a satchel from Hope. Dragon is going to be started up by top. We'll see if AL want to respond. They have Flandre, who has just dinged Mega Gnar in the top side of the map. That is not a good timer for him to have this ability up online. Dragon.
Tarzan just walks into the pit!
He's gonna 50 it. He gets the dragon somehow, and now Creme is in trouble once again with the shockwave on top of him, but he heals just enough to survive. Flandre comes in with a teleport and will assassinate him on the back side of things. And top esports looking to collapse now onto Tarzan. 2v1 here. JackeyLove should be able to claim this one if 369 pops the dominance on the bottom side underneath the turret. Shanks has the shield, should be enough, but he will finally go down. Hope satchels away from the bullet time and will be able to pick up another kill onto the crocodile.
Flandre, dog walk him, brother!
Flandre approaching Mega Gnar, looking to try and get some distance closed between him and JackeyLove, but I don't know if Jackie's going to let that happen, as he will waltz away after a 3-for-3 extended fight.
The strut coming in for JackeyLove gives him the movement speed to be able to dodge out there at the very end. 5-0-3 on this misfortune, and it feels like it's going to have to come down to a former world champion for TES if they want to have a chance. So far as this is probably the only reason I'll like Pantheon is literally Giga Chad, no questions asked, walks up, steals your dragon, walks out, even kills your mid laner. What else can't this champion do, man? Yeah, I was about to say that the criticism for this game so far has been Flandre on this Gnar. His Mega Gnar, like the Rage Bar management has not been great, but he is showing up for fights and cleaning up where is needed for his team.
Yeah, picked up 2 big kills there, so at least is able to contribute in some way, shape, or form. Nice satchel from Hope to get away from that JackeyLove ultimate as well, who continues to get stronger and stronger here in this game. Still deathless, 5-0-3. Essence Reaver done. Last Whisper in inventory, looking to continue to shred up and tear down anyone's legend.
Now I'm looking at these 2 carries, JackeyLove and Hope. Hope is down a fair bit of CS, but is matching, at least in terms of item pairing, with his opponent. Already has the Leandries, now has the Ludens. There's a LDR coming through for JackeyLove. They did make this item 100 gold more, but gave it 5% armor penetration, so LDR has 40% armor pen. If there's any way that we can get back Giant Slayer, I'll gladly knock off that 5%, please. I really miss Giant Slayer passive. It was not only a fun number because it gave you like a stat track of how much extra damage you're dealing to champions, but it also just let me actually kill tanks, or at least it visually let me feel like I was killing tanks. So,
especially like the tanks that are maybe more pseudo tanks, like we have up here in the top lane right now.
Like all the Fimble Winter Abusers, yeah, all of those guys.
So 369 and Flandre maybe able to survive a little bit longer because of that change. Specifically Flandre now on the Gnar, who has the upgraded plated steel caps thanks to the feats of strength being picked up by anyone's legends. They still find themselves down about 1,000 gold, so Top Esports still in good control. A lot of that gold, though, as you look down at the bottom of your screen, is on JackeyLove's misfortune.
And TES have done such a great job yet again. Another game here, 3 in a row, honestly, of just making sure that they're getting structure, specifically these bottom lane and top lane tier 1s. Every single game, it feels like they're the ones that at least take one of the turrets in trade for an objective. They're focusing on opening up really long lanes for their carries. I think it works so well when you have someone like 369 on this Renekton, and also makes it easy for playing for some of these objectives, especially with Eragon spawning 3 times in this top lane. If they can get this top tier 1, it makes it easier for them to push out the wave and at least set up for this objective, as right now, TES are so focused on getting vision around this side of the map.
See if anyone wants to start up the Eragon. You see some pings around it, so both teams know that that is a option for the other side to go for. Tarzan walking very far forward here, but you know, with that passive, you can just tank up so much damage with that empowered E, as we saw in that last Dragon's fight. Speaking of Chemtech Drake spawning in just 45 seconds, that will be another objective for both of these teams to fight for.
And I will say, big items, I think, coming in for ALs. They're all on 2 items here.
Kael.
Except for the support. Kael is just playing Leona. Guess what? There's this really cool ability on Leona. Do you remember what her W is named?
Eclipse, right?
Her W? Really?
Is that right? I could be wrong.
I don't know. I just asked this name. It's fine. For
Wait, you're
Leona,
saying you asked me what the name of the ability was and you didn't even know what it was?
Yeah. Get out.
I think it... Chat, let me know, but I think it's Eclipse.
Yeah, let's do chat do some of the heavy lifting here, okay? I was gonna say he has Aftershock, and Leona W basically means I'm unkillable for the next 3 seconds. So really, wherever Kael gets to walk is it's a bit free sometimes.
Yeah, especially because he had a buddy kind of in the vicinity in case he did get caught up by more than just Crisp and Kanavi. Obviously, the tanks could not do damage to the other tanks.
It is in fact Eclipse. All right, good job. You kept your job.
Pass the test. We'll be right back here later in this split, I guess. The teleport coming from Flandre. Looks like right now Top Esports getting control around the Dragon, and so AL just going to cede control of that and go towards the Octocon instead. Again, the revives could be very big in a potential fight, so TES know that they cannot go for the Drake and instead are forced back to the top side of the map.
They're starting this Octocon like we were just mentioning, but Flandre's got to be so careful. Oh, JackeyLove, perfect
really nice cleanse from JackeyLove, but Kael is still on top of him. The Pantheon all comes over the top, and Tarzan will shut down the main carry of Top Esports. Flandre with a Gnar ultimate onto 369, but the Nature's Grasp is big, and Creme is still full HP with the Arcane Storm raining down onto AL. Kanavi will get bursted down by Hope as another shutdown goes his way. 369 has to slice and dice away, but he will get eaten up by Flandre. Another team fight win, this time for AL, as Top Esports lose 3.
JackeyLove's like, hey, can I get Gale Force back in this game, please? Like, yeah. I just use my cleanse, I have to flash, and still there's a Pantheon hunting me down from the opposite side of the map. Creme is full HP, but I don't know how much work you're going to be able to get done by yourself. You might be Victor, but with no Chaos Storm, I just don't think it's going to be worth. Tarzan has to be real careful. This Otacon's got hands.
Yeah, this thing, you learn quickly. A couple days of the season did a lot of damage. Okay, Tarzan picks it up. Revives now available for all 5 members of AL as we get a look at the replay of this fight. Again, JackeyLove really doing everything he could, but when you throw the entire bag at the main carry, it doesn't end well.
Feels pretty good. I mean, that was a great bomb to start. JackeyLove getting tagged by his Ziggs bomb means that he actually lost his strut passive. All of that movement speed no longer available. Leona finds the engage, and again, no flash, no cleanse, no hope in this fight. As great split here from AL, as you look at that satchel bomb, it just split the rest of the fight. Creme and Crisp are in literal Narnia. We don't get to see 369 splash. Honestly, great for preserving his legacy as one of the great top laners here in the league. And it's going to be a Dragon here that puts AL at sole point.
Pretty big win here for anyone's Legends. It looked like Top Esports were controlling the early stages of this game. Alkin, we said that, you know, maybe they have the composition that could scale a little bit better with Creme and JackeyLove. However, AL once again making another instance of these two teams facing off and having the goal basically dead even at the 30-minute mark, because how else would a game between these two teams go at this point?
It's tough. It's tough. Remember, from draft, we wanted to see AL get to objectives first so that they can set up. And I loved how they leveraged Tarzan's ultimate with this Pantheon, being able to cross the map immediately and bring the fight to TES, who didn't seem like they were ready, didn't seem like they were really set up, and we haven't really seen that perfect kind of layup for Misfortune. One of the problems that I really have with this champion in competitive right now is a lot of Misfortunes wait for the perfect time, because any bit of crowd control that stops you kind of cuts your damage output in 3. So you need to be so precise with where this bullet time is going. That just isn't the case for TES so far in this game. It's going to be a startup for Baron, but you still have bullet time here for JackeyLove. I think this is AL looking for a turn so they can find maybe a summoner spell or get a kill off of one of the TES members. And they still have the Otacon revive for 20 seconds.
Exactly, so even if a big group of kills goes down, AL could come right back into the fray. Kael posturing aggressively, looking to find a solar flare or some sort of crowd control onto Jackie, and once the full squad of TES arrive, they will head back after taking a pretty big beating from Baron Nashor. That guy also does a little bit of damage.
Yeah, I'm glad that I want the jungle monsters to feel threatening. There was a point in like old seasons where if you weren't actually a straight up jungler that had like ideal damage to monsters or heal off of them, the jungle camps would straight up blast you. For anybody who remembers what old Raptor was, the whites, they would rip you asunder if you did not have the jungle requisites. They made sure that you had your GED in the jungle before you popped in.
No, I remember like back in Season 5 when I first started playing. I hit level 10, I got Smite as my new summoner spell. I was like, wow, this is going to be great. Lock in Master Yi, get executed like 4 times in the first 5 minutes. It was hard back there. And I feel like we're seeing a similar level of that here with the Otacon, and now even the Baron Nashor, as Kael was in a little bit of trouble. Going to get locked down here by Chris. There's the bullet time, but only with on to Kael. Here comes Flandre, not the Mega yes yet. Gets locked up by the Glacial Prison, has to flash away, but it is enough for the kill to land onto the main tanks. But the carries still alive for top of the Arcane Storm, coming in and trying to do a lot of damage. Hope flashes forward. What an aggressive play from Hope as he takes Creme down. Now it's 369 and JackeyLove. No bullet time on the Misfortune, remember. TES still has their top laner with the Dominus available, but he will have to back away in a 4v2 as AL take another fight.
This is what the Ziggs offers you, being able to outrange this Victor and put him in such a tough spot. Either you're walking forward, you're getting satchel bombed, or you're just not going to be able to interact in this fight. Same thing with JackeyLove. He's not having a great time, and you're just too far up. There's no mid-tier one, buddy.
And Starfall, Tarzan does not have the flash, and so cannot lock him down. But with Kanavi still dead, now finally just arriving back in the fountain, Tarzan and AL have a good chance to set up around this Baron. Not going to go for it as we take a look back at this play. It started with Kael getting caught out.
Just remember what we talked about, even though we may have forgotten what the Leona W is called. Aftershock and W just means with the Eclipse, you do no damage. This was very questionable from Flandre. I think his Gnar has not been great this game so far, but I just don't think it matters for this game. The rest of AR really we're in a fight in Pip. Come on, we don't need this replay. We're taking a mid-tier one. We're fighting right before the dragon spawns.
JackeyLove all of a sudden very, very low, as well as Kanavi. Not enough follow-up, not enough gap closing, I think, for AL to continue the chase. So they will back away, but have the major HP advantage. And with JackeyLove likely forced to either back off or clear a wave to get the HP back, AL have all the time in the world to take over vision in this enemy topside jungle and make their way towards the tier 2 and mid.
For me, what I'm looking at is no ultimate or no summoner spells here for JackeyLove. No flash as well for 369 or Creme. Those are two of the members you're looking. For Creme, it's for that safety. And for 369, it's the ability to flash into the backline and find Shanks or Hope. So now what AL will be able to do, get control of mid, push out these waves, move into the bottom side. You already see that the vision is there. You've got 10 seconds before this dragon spawns. It'll be Soul here for anyone's legend if they can pick this up. And all of TES are going to have to just walk into Fog 4. I think the one silver lining is JackeyLove did hit level 16, so you have a third point into that ultimate. Maybe they just make a Baron Gambit, but
Looks like that's what they're going to do. Hey, they do a decent amount of damage with it. With the Misfortune and the Victor, Jackie should be able to heal up as well to make sure that he is safe for a fight. It at least pushes AL off of the Dragon and forces them to get mid-prio back and go right once again onto the tier 2. But look at Crisp and 369. They're looking for a flank, but Kael is here to try to block things off. Glacial Prison lands onto Tarzan, who uses the E to try and keep himself alive. Crisp and 369 still buying a lot of space, but a nice 2-man Gnar from Flandre will force Crisp to flash. Nobody falls in the fight. JackeyLove still very threatening here on this backline as both sides are forced to retreat. However, Tarzan will retreat back to the Dragon alongside Flandre and pick up the Soul.
I just think that Baron is terrible. Why is TS are we forcing that? Even if you are able to start the Baron, the rest of AL are going to be able to match. You can have Tarzan do the Dragon and then Grand Star fall into the fight. You're going to get outranged. They lose access through mid. They get pushed out, and that turns into more damage. Another flash being taken away. Now Crisps this time. And you didn't gain all that much. You got more. They got more damage from AL onto that mid-tier one. Ziggs can verifiably walk up, press W, and gone this turret. So now they've got Soul in their back pocket. TS are staring down the barrel of a loss here in this third game. And it was looking all so well for them, but I don't know, like we were saying, okay, I was looking at it like, okay, maybe they're in their groove, but the level 2 dives were looking a little shaky, and now we're back into a situation where the team fight from AL is so strong.
JackeyLove hasn't gotten a kill in like 20 minutes.
It's been pretty crazy.
It's been a while. He has been farming up. He's still ahead over Hope, and has 4 completed items with the Mercurial Scimitar here to provide a little bit of extra safety against the likes of Kael. However, still not finding the fight that they wanted. The bullet times have just not been in prime locations for this main carry of top esports. The Baron is still alive though. AL could potentially throw the game away if TS can find a good fight around this objective. But right now, it is anyone's Legends with pure control as we see Tarzan going for a drastic invade. Still very survivable here with the E as he just tanks that Glacial Prison and the Nature's Grasp.
He's tanky and survivable. Man, this is beautiful. Why does this champion get 2 He's not even a tank! He gets Steric's Gauge and Sundered Sky, and suddenly you can just do whatever you want in the face of your opponents. But
I mean, those are 2 big ultimates. I mean, AL could potentially start up this Baron with Flandre approaching Mega.
Looks like he's just covering and getting rid of the vision here. I think for right now, Grapes, what I'm going to be looking for TES, if they want a chance in this game, is level 16 for Creme. Oh, if Shanks had not shown there, maybe there was an angle, but if he can get 3rd point into the Chaos Storm, maybe, just maybe, with the evolution of all of his spells, TES can look for something. It's 2,000 gold. The gold is close, but we're Grand Sky falling in.
Crisp just dead, tanking up too much damage. Hope landing the final blow. Bullet time not really finding much, only onto the tank. Satchel charge backwards from Hope means that Kanavi is not in a good spot himself. There comes the Arcane Storm, but just nobody is low enough for that to do any damage and for that storm to continue to grow. Despite the carries keeping themselves alive on top, not enough for them to do anything as AL will get a free Baron.
Great job from 369. Oh, we're teleporting in, so just take the turret. The turret doesn't die there. So they're going to just try to force down mid. Okay, fine. This is one of the strategies you can try to do when the enemy team is going for Baron. You push in all of their waves so that they can spend as much of the Baron timer as possible having to re-push out these lanes. And so now Baron goes over, but for now TES, they're able to grab two turrets here in the meanwhile.
So a little bit of gold traded back, although at this point we are getting to the point of where gold doesn't necessarily matter as much once your big champions are hitting 3-4 completed items. Still, AL 3k gold ahead as they pick up the Baron. That mid-tier 2 certainly the juiciest target for them as we are still awaiting the Elder Dragon to spawn. Game plan for AL. Get as much turrets as you possibly can, maybe crack open an inhibitor during this Baron power play, and as soon as it is about to expire, march your way right back to the Elder and try to start a fight again.
You already see it, they're moving in on this side of the jungle. In the timer that it will be for their Baron, it will be the same amount of time before this Elder Dragon spawns. Flandre is gaining Mega Gnar stacks.
Doing a lot of damage. Wow, Chris just gets deleted, melted by Flandre in mini Gnar form. Just another easy death for Crisp as he falls for the 5th time this game. And once more, it is top esports stuck in a 4v5 situation with Baron buff against them.
Now what do TES do? I mean, we waited, we said, okay, level 16 here for Creme. Will he have enough of the requisite damage to turn the fight here? It's going to be a satchel bomb in mid if they really want to. He's just trying to get the passive stacks in.
Tarzan underneath the inhibitor tower, going for JackeyLove. He procs Imperial Scimitar, will stay alive at least for a little bit. One more boomerang shift to the deep. The bullet time comes out, and Flandre will fall. Top esports keeping themselves alive as Kael is still stuck under the tier 3 turret, and finally the victor gets what he desires, and that is a double kill in for Creme. Hope satchels and flashes away, but finally TES gets some sort of life back thrown into them.
That was so dangerous right there. The fact that the satchel bomb doesn't throw him over the wall does mean that it's the flash from Hope that has to be used. He's still satchel bombing away, and very big win, I think, there for TES. That could have been the game-deciding fight, but JackeyLove, so many. Look at what's available for him. Flash, Cleanse, Mercurial Scimitar, and a Kael's. They do not want this guy to get crowd control. It's a Leon ult that misses. He uses the QSS.
Crazy.
He uses the Cleanse and the Flash. Doesn't end up getting taken down. It's like 100 HP here for JackeyLove. And while they finally make the turn onto Flandre, I think that 369 this game has been really underrated on this Renekton. He's had such a good game of being able to get into the back line and make sure that he's at least providing space for his carries.
Yes, protect the president. That president right now is Mr. JackeyLove on the ADC, picking up another BF sword, looking for that 5th and final item. Baron buff expiring in 10 seconds as the Elder Dragon does spawn. All 5 members of AL are back alive, but right now top esports use the time that they had with the numbers advantage to gain control around the pit, and they are going to be the ones to potentially start this objective up first.
Where is Shanks TPing to? Mans is in top side? Okay, the Elder is here. It looks like he wants to try to catch this mid-wave really high, make sure that it gets the push out in favor of AL, and they will move first into this bottom side river. So important for them. Either team getting this Elder could potentially blow open this game and immediately send us to a game 4.
So now AL regaining control of the pit. 369 could be caught out potentially as Flandre is approaching Mega, and Kael will dive on top of him with the Zenith Blade. Stun just on to the Croc. He crocs hysterics, but the bullet time could be big. There's Kael looking to deny it. Tarzan now stuck in a 1v4. JackeyLove finally will go down as Kael picks it up, and a 3-man shock wave from Shanks. It is a triple kill, a quadra kill for Tarzan on the Pantheon, and anyone's legends will march down the bottom side of the map and take themselves to match point.
What an incredible shockwave from Shanks. Opens up Tarzan to find the quadra kill. You can kind of see it in those player cams. AL are laughing. The smiles are back for the boys. As with the Ziggs, they don't even need the Elder Dragon. We're going to game 4 with AL up a game.
Another 40-minute game, but once again, it is AL prevailing. They go up 2-1 in the series and are just 1 win away for going up to 2-0 in Group A.
What such a close match. We think about the early game, the failed dives coming in from TES. That should have spelled the tail of the tape coming into this one. But in the mid game, we were seeing so many kills go over to JackeyLove. It looked worrisome there for anyone's legend. But the fight just kept happening, and we saw them execute time and time again. Send the Pantheon into the backline. Use Ziggs' range to make sure that Misfortune is uncomfortable. We saw how many tools JackeyLove had to make sure that he didn't get crowd controlled, and it just didn't matter in that last fight.
You gotta feel for Jackie, man. He tried so hard, bought so many items, was so strong in that game. I thought that last bullet time could have been the difference maker right there, but Kael on the Leona just throwing his life away essentially to make sure that they are able to lock him down, and with Tarzan coming through with the Grand Starfall as well, it was enough to take down one, and then of course that shockwave from Shanks. Looks like the Pantheon was a decent ball delivery system that time around.
I was kind of questioning whether or not that was actually going to be one, just because when Pantheon is flying in, one of the things about the Nocturne Ori combo is that while you're mid-air, you can channel the ultimate and then you kind of hide some of that. But with this Pantheon, you can't really do it when he's flying in because he's untargetable the entire time. But it just kind of didn't matter. The damage durability from him, using his E, the directionality of it, makes it so hard for if all of them are on the same side. We got to see him in one of those fights. He just tanks an entire Misfortune ultimate, and it's just that Aegis pulling up big damage numbers up against this Misfortune.
As another really close game. I think this is the third game in a row, Alk, where we've gone past 40 minutes. That just goes to show how close these two teams really are. I know you went to 5 games yesterday. We're already seeing the sunrise over here on the East Coast of North America, but I wouldn't be surprised if we are here for the long haul and TES finds some way to bounce back, because the way that they played the early part of the game, bouncing back after the kind of failed lane swap once more, setting up JackeyLove for success, really liked what they were able to do in that regard, but just a little bit of missed execution on some of those team fights. Crisp getting caught out multiple times around crucial objectives. Just a couple too many mistakes that broke the camel's back here for top.
Okay, and we got to start thinking about who our MVP is going to be as we take a look at this. Now, the damage numbers, to be fair, Ziggs always has insanely inflated numbers, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt, but Hope did play most of this game well. I wonder, well, what are your thoughts on this?
See, this is tough. I feel like Shanks didn't do too much other than 2 big shockwaves that he had, one towards the start of the game and, of course, the last one towards the end. I did see him winning the fan vote, though, as soon as the game ended, though, so it seems like the LPL chat has a little bit of recency bias.
Well, okay, we saw Kael win one of the votes, and he didn't get the vote, or it was...
That is true.
Even in the TES game, right? Like, they gave a bunch of votes over to JackeyLove, and we still gave it to Crisp. So...
Yeah, tough one for Crisp, I will say. Hopefully him and the rest of the team are able to bounce back. MVP is tough for this one. Who do you have?
I think Tarzan played this game pretty well. Obviously, we saw a lot of early action with his Pantheon, and I think the perception of Pantheon does need to change, because in years past, he was an early game champion that is a really good snowballer and obviously applies a lot of great map pressure. But here in competitive, and especially with where the itemization is for AD Bruisers, he is so difficult to take down, especially with that Aegis. So I'm kind of hoping that Tarzan gets it. He's had so many great performances, not only here in the LPL this year so far, but also Demacia Cup. So I feel like he's deserving of at least MVP.
I would not be super opposed to that. I mean, the Grand Star falls onto JackeyLove's head, I think, were the big reasons why they were able to win a lot of those late game team fights. And so even though the early game was, you know, nothing too crazy, it's plays like this that really end up allowing Tarzan to have, you know, good positioning here. I mean, I predicted wrong.
This is an AD carry's nightmare, man. Like, think if I'm in JackeyLove's position, I'm saying, okay, cleanse, flash, Mercs, and my support build Kael's. Does not matter. Just doesn't matter, man. I'm getting Ziggs bomb over top. There's a whole Pantheon, like, Chad sliding at me, like doing some Jamiroquai coming on through. I don't know, man. This is a tough game to play Misfortune.
You know, watching these replays back again, I think Kael played pretty well on the Leona once more. I mean, he basically won them that last fight, sacrificing his life to dive straight onto Jackie. Another really great engage there. He was the one who initiated that dive up on the top side. I mean, it's an argument. I don't know.
Has been
I feel like
pretty
any of them could win, though.
Leona's also a very OP champion to play this game, to be fair, right? Like, you have 2 jobs. Find the immobile carry in either JackeyLove and Creme on this Victor, and you just set up for your carries. So, yeah, I could see either Tarzan or even Kael winning it. This one probably feels a little bit more just than Game 1, but, yeah, I can be convinced. This flash from 369 hit me like a flashbang. Happens.
Overall, though, like, really good, solid play from anyone's Legend. I feel like coming into the split after Demacia Cup, people were wondering, oh, was this a fluke from AL? Did they just run into a couple of weaker teams that didn't get the chance to scrim too much? Looks like the answer is no. They're still definitely here to play, and they are looking very good, looking poised to potentially take that top spot in the group, get that double elimination once we get into the postseason. But still a lot more League of Legends to play. They still need to win one more game before top win 2.
And this was the fight that really just kind of ended the game immediately. This Grand Star fall. Okay, they're giving him the highlight package in the last call. He's got MVP. There's no way they give it to Kael or anybody else if they're willing to pull out replay league director for the highlight package. They've already got it set up.
I will say it was both of them that ended up contributing, although a lot of focus on Tarzan there in that last replay.
Here we go. Flandra's about to get it. Flandra's about to get it for one of the ugliest Gnar games that we've seen. Bring it home.
I feel like it could be anyone except for Flandre. But, you know, I thought maybe last game it could have been anyone except for Crisp. So who knows what I know at this point. Still, well, we'll see.
957, you've guided us in the past. Please don't take away this MVP vote from us. Please do justice upon the world and give it to our jungler.
There we go.
Yay!
Good job to Tarzan, setting up big plays, locking down the biggest carry in the game, that being JackeyLove on the Pantheon. Very well done for the jungler of Anyone's Legends, who has taken his team to match point. Will we be hearing that Silver Scrapes, or will it be yet another repeat of history with AL taking a 3-1 win? We'll be back in just a few minutes.